I take it as a given that any one of you who considers herself a professional must make it second nature to offer things to the client. And I'm talking about offering things to the client. Here, no, look, there are a lot of people who see sales as something negative. Oh, I don't want to be a salesperson because, oh, salespeople, well, salespeople deceive, they lie, boo, they hassle the client, they create tension. Oh no, 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 I don't want to be like that. No, that's why I don't want to be a salesperson. I want to be a professional. But that's not the case, because there are different kinds of sales. There are many ways to sell and many ways to interact with the client. Ours is not an aggressive sales approach, because you have to talk to the client during today's visit, but if she comes back tomorrow, or next week, or next month, it's the same client. So, if you deceive her once, look, the client is a person just like you. If you deceive her once or twice, by the third time, she might not even come back. She just won't come to talk to you anymore. She simply won't come. So, you can't, use those tactics. You have to be very kind to her, build empathy and a relationship with her and, of course, make her, believe in you. That is, convey trust as a professional. This might seem easy, but it's not that simple. So, you have to earn this with the client, but it's not an aggressive sale at all, you know? If you use aggressive sales tactics, I really don't recommend it at all. If you do, the effects you might get could be more negative than positive. So, I definitely recommend selling, but nothing aggressive, not at all. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't offer things to the client. So, let's have a look at how you can do that. Let's see. Be professional. Being professional involves things like observing. Later on, in the afternoon, when we're talking about closing sales and lots of examples of closing techniques and such, we'll see that it's very important to make a diagnosis of the client. We'll look at that in more detail then, but the key point is to observe the client. You have to observe the client. If you don't observe the client and you don't see what her skin is like, what type of skin she has, what changes there have been, since the last time, I don't know, what details there are, then you're not really taking care of her, and the client comes to you so that you look after her. That is to say, there's an issue here. There's an issue here regarding the diagnosis, which, well, I'll mention now. Most of the appointments made in many salons are client appointments. The client comes in, you do whatever she's booked in for, and that's it. And I say what is cited. Not even a treatment anymore. If she comes in to have her upper lip done, she comes in, say, Monday morning at 11 because that's when her appointment is. She comes in to have her upper lip done, it gets done, and off she goes. Either we book her another appointment or she leaves. Of course, was there any kind of diagnosis there? There was no diagnosis at all. You don't need to have a team to do a diagno, an electronic device or imaging equipment to make a diagnosis either. You also don't have to go all out and do something exhaustive. But, come on, at least look at the skin. Don't just focus on the upper lip, which is what she asked for. Look at other things as well, because if you're focused on the upper lip and you notice, for example, that her eyes are dry, she has wrinkles, her eyelids are drooping or she has dark circles, doesn't it occur to you to say anything? No! Don't you ever feel like, oh, I want to tell her, but I don't know how, but... no, don't you feel bad when you see him and you say, so, should I tell him, I don't tell him, will he think it's bad? Wouldn't we say anything to him? It would be wrong to say something. Just a comment. Would that be aggressive? Would it be aggressive? Oh, it's just about the lip. She didn't mention anything about her eyes, but would it be aggressive to say something to her? Well, if you see that she's got crow's feet, it's all here, already, and her eyelid is drooping here or she's got bags under her eyes, we'd say something. Well, we'll talk about it later, but you could say something to her. So, that's what I mean, observe the client, don't just stick to what she asked for. In fact, we'll also look at cross-selling later on, selling her something that complements what she asked for, but that's to explain things to her. Well, at the very least, observe her. Let's leave it here for now at observing her. All right? Observe her and say things to her, not with the intention, mind you, not with the intention of selling, but rather of looking after her. Because if you don't explain things to her, she might not even realize that you know about them. Shall I give you the example of the eye contour? Since we're on the subject, I'll give it to you. She comes in just to have her upper lip done, nothing else. And then, you notice that she has bags under her eyes and you can ask her, "Goodness, I see you have bags under your eyes. Is it usual for you to have?" If she's perhaps a new client and you don't know her that well, or if you already know her a bit better but have never mentioned it, then say to her, "I notice that every time you come in, goodness, you have quite pronounced bags here. Do you feel like this in the morning, with your bags really puffy?" Ask her something, and she says, "Well, yes, it's just that I'm using, well, an eye cream there." "Oh, really? And is the eye cream one that helps with drainage?" "What? Drainage?" "Well, it's a moisturizing eye cream, an eye cream for the eye area." Right, the thing is, you need to know that the eye contour area, even though it's a small area, actually has 3 very distinct zones, and the products can be quite different. One thing is to fill in the wrinkles here, for example with hyaluronic acid, like crow's feet. Another thing is if your eyelid starts to droop, in that case, you need to apply something to firm up that eyelid, like collagen or some other active ingredient. Or if it's a matter of under-eye bags, you need to use a different active ingredient from hyaluronic acid, because if you use hyaluronic acid on bags, it's possible they'll become even more pronounced. You don't want to be using a moisturizing eye cream with hyaluronic acid at home, applying it over your under-eye bags and actually making them even bigger. Ah, well, I honestly didn't know that. Of course, look, we have all 3. And you should know that if you need to use a draining product, as I can see you have under-eye bags, it's very important to use active ingredients that help with drainage, because otherwise the bags won't go down. Check for yourself if you like, and if not, we can offer it to you. If you don't mention any of this, and the client just comes in, gets her upper lip done, and leaves. She knows you have eye contour products, and she knows that you have mastered the eye contour area and that there are 3 distinct differences in eye contour. Does she know that? No, she values you as a professional when it comes to the eye contour area. About the rest, I don't know. But regarding the eye contour, does she value you? Does she have any information to judge you by? She doesn't have any. So, sometimes we say, it's just that clients are like that because they don't value me. Some people say that, very few, just a handful. Not here, though, not here, I know that. But some do say it. And tell me, is it the client's fault? Maybe it's your fault for not telling her things. You should tell her not to sell her the eye cream. If she wants to buy it, she will. But if you don't tell her, she might even be using something that doesn't suit her and she doesn't know it. So, you have to tell her these things. That's why I say observe and talk to her. Always mention things to her. And bear in mind that even if you tell her this and she comes back a month later, she'll have forgotten. She no longer remembers that there's an area for this or that this one is for something else, or the other one. She doesn't remember. So, can I say it again? Yes. Yes. And if she comes a 3rd time, as well, it's not a problem. Believe me, it's not a problem, because the client isn't studying eye creams at night or memorizing what you tell her. No. I'm going to tell you about the recording issue now so you know, with clients, with me, and with all of you. Right now, I'm speaking and each one of you is understanding whatever you feel like. That's how it is. It's not about anything. That's how it is because we're human. And why do I say this? Because human beings don't record information. We're not a USB stick. We're not a CD to record information onto. Human beings, everyone on the planet, we all interpret. That's why, when you tell a client something and you say it absolutely perfectly, even in writing, you think, but how did this client not get it? It's because the client interprets. Because she's a human being, she doesn't record, she interprets. When? Always. We always interpret. You say something to someone says something to you, a client, and they're interpreting, not understanding or recording. They might be understanding, but they're interpreting. So, can you repeat this again? Of course you can repeat it again,